In order to solve the final accounts or the financial statements of sole proprietorship concern, it's very important to read the question first and mark the adjustments of the entries given in the trial balance. So we will start reading with adjustments first. These are the adjustments. The first adjustment is relating to machinery. This says depreciation charged on machinery at 5% per annum. Further bad debts of rupees 1500, discount on debtors at 5% and make a provision on debtors at 6%. Wages prepaid 1000, interest on investment at 5% per annum, closing stock 10,000. So now that we have read the adjustments, we will now proceed with reading the trial balance. This is the trial balance. Make sure to mark the entries that have adjustments to it. You need to put a tick mark or a star mark against the entries that have adjustments to it. So now our first entry is on the debit side. We will start reading from the debit side. The first entry is opening stock 35,000. It doesn't have any adjustment. Purchases 1,25,000. Return inwards 25,000. Postage and telegram 600. Salary 12,300. Wages 3,000. Now when we were reading adjustments, we found that there was prepaid wages of 1,000 rupees. Prepaid wages 1000. This relates to wages, so we will put a tick mark against the wages. I've already marked it. We have rent and rates, packing and transport, general expense, insurance, debtors. Debtors do have an adjustment, so we have ticked it. Cash in hand, cash at bank, machinery has an adjustment. We have put a tick mark. Lighting and heating, discount, bad debts and investment. Bad debts and investment both have side. It says sales 2,50,000, purchase return 6,000, creditors 10,000, bills payable 20,000, discount 1,000, provision for bad debts 4,500. There's an adjustment, so we have ticked it. Interest received 5,400 and capital 75,000. Once we are done with reading the question, we have read the adjustments, we have marked the entries having adjustment. Now we will proceed with solution. Now when we are solving the question, what we need to keep in mind is we need to solve the question in 3 different parts. In the very first part, we will draft the accounts and the balance sheet. After drafting the accounts, we will then post the entries into each of the respective accounts. And after posting, in the final step, we will do the balancing of the amounts. So let's see how I'm doing it. I have prepared the trading and profit and loss account and the balance sheet. Now we will start posting entry into these. The first entry in trial balance is opening stock. So opening stock goes into the trading account debit side. We will write to opening stock on the trading accounts debit side. To opening stock 35,000. Then we have purchases. We will write purchases in the inner column, in the particulars column itself. To purchases, the amount will be written in the particulars column because we have to adjust the returns. 1,25,000 and it says purchase return 6,000 less purchase return 6,000 and this gives me 1,19,000. Then we have return inwards. This is adjusted from sales. So we will write by sales 2,50,000 less returns, return inwards 25,000. So it gives me 2,25,000. So we are done with this. Now next is postage and telegram. It is 600. It should come on the profit and loss account on the debit side. So we will write it from the bottom. We will give ample space to the trading account entries, and we will write the entries of profit and loss account from the bottom. We will leave some space for closing the account, for closing the profit and loss account, and one for net profit or net loss. So it's postage and telegram 600. So we'll write here to postage and telegram 600. Next entry is salary. Salary does not have any adjustment, so we will again post it on the profit and loss account debit side above postage and telegram. To salary, and the amount is 12,300. Then we have wages. Wages needs to be posted on the trading accounts debit side. Since it has adjustment, we will write the amount of wages in the particular column itself. Wages is 3,000. We will adjust the adjustment, that is prepaid wages 1,000 rupees. So we will say prepaid 1,000. All the adjustments are given two effects. We'll give the second effect on the asset side. One effect is reduced from wages, another is on the asset side, prepaid wages 1,000. Now we'll show the next entry. Next is rent and rates 1,000. It should be shown on the profit and loss account debit side. So we will write here to rent and rates, and it does not have any adjustment. So to rent and rates, the amount is 1,000. Then we have packing and transport, again profit and loss account. It should be 500. Then general expense appears on the same profit and loss account debit side. General expense, no adjustment, amount should be on the outer column. Insurance 4,000, no adjustment to insurance. Next entry is debtors. Debtors has adjustments, and it appears, debtors appears on the asset side. So we will write debtors on the asset side. The amount is 50,000. Now we will give effect to the adjustments. Let's see what are the adjustments. It says further bad debts rupees 1,500. So we have to reduce this from debtors. Further bad debts less further bad debts 1,500. It gives us 48,500 net debtors. From this amount, we will calculate the new provision for bad debts at 6%. So we will calculate 6% of 48,500. So on this amount we will calculate discount on debtors at 5%, which comes to 2280. Since we all know that every adjustment has two effects, one effect is given on the asset side for these three adjustments. Now other effects need to be given in the profit and loss account also. So in profit and loss account on debit side, we will adjust these amounts with the bad debts. So let's see how it is done. We have bad debts in the trial balance given as rupees 3,500. Now we will adjust the amounts with the bad debts. So we will write to bad debts 3,500. To this we will have to add further bad debts of 1,500. We will have to add it with bad debts 1,500, and also we have to add the amount of provision that we have made. The amount of the provision is 2910, so we will add it here. The old provision will continue to appear on the credit side of profit and loss account, so we are not adjusting the old provision here. So this becomes 791. Now we have finished with adjustment of debtors. Next is cash in hand, cash at bank. Both these items appear on the asset side of balance sheet, so we will write it on the asset side. Cash in hand, cash in hand is 20,000 and cash at bank is 40,000. Cash at bank 40,000. Next item is machinery. Machinery has adjustment which says depreciation charged on machinery at 5% per annum. So we have to charge depreciation on machinery at 5%. So first we will show it in the asset side. Machinery amount is 20,000 and 5% depreciation we have to charge. 5% of 20,000 is 1,000. So this is 19,000. And this depreciation will be shown on the profit and loss account debit side. Next, we are done with adjustment of machinery. Next is lighting and heating. It does not have any adjustment discount, so we will write it on the profit and loss account debit side to lighting and heating 5,000. Discount also in the profit and loss account 3,500. Bad debts we have already adjusted. Investment is an asset, needs to be shown in the asset side, and it also has an adjustment. Investment is 23,100 the adjustment says interest on investment at 5% per annum. So we have to calculate interest on this 23,100. Interest on investment is calculated on 23,100 at 5% per annum. As per the adjustment, interest is to be calculated on investment at 5% per annum. So this comes to 1,155. So this will be added to investment. This interest on investment, since it is an income, it will be shown on the profit and loss account credit side, which shows incomes and gains. So this is the credit side. We can write by interest on investment 1155. Now coming to the credit side of trial balance, the first item is sales. Sales we have already recorded. Purchase return we have already recorded. Creditors. Creditors is a liability that needs to be shown on the balance sheet liabilities side. This is the balance sheet. We are done with the assets. Now we will post the entries on the liability side of the balance sheet. So creditors have been recorded on the liabilities side of balance sheet. Bills payable have been recorded on the liabilities side. Discount, this will be shown in the profit and loss account credit side since it's a gain to the firm. So we have written here discount. Then we have provision for bad debts. Provision for bad debts, we did not adjust this with the bad debts on the debit side. So we will write it on the credit side of profit and loss account by provision for bad debts. This is 4,500. The next entry is interest received. This will be shown on the credit side of profit and loss account. Interest received. The amount is 5,400. And lastly, capital 75,000. Capital is shown on the liability side. It should always be shown in the inner column, because we need to adjust net profit or net loss with this. So that's why once we have adjusted it, then we will write the final amount outside. So now we have done with posting of entries of the trial balance. The last adjustment that says closing stock rupees 10,000, credit side of trading account with by closing stock 10,000. The second effect will be shown on the asset side. We have finished with posting of entries. Now the last step remains balancing of the amounts. The balancing should always start with balancing of trading account first. Find out the gross profit from trading account. Then transfer that gross profit to the profit and loss account credit side in this way. If you get gross loss, you will write here, and that gross loss will be transferred to the debit side of profit and loss account. The total of credit side of trading account comes heavier, 2,35,000. So we will close trading account with 2,35,000 by writing 2,35,000 on both sides of trading account. The gross profit comes to 79,000 to gross profit. Now we will transfer this gross profit to the credit side of profit and loss account by gross profit 79,000. Now the total of credit side of profit and loss account comes to 91,055, heavier than the debit side. So we will close the profit and loss account with 91,055. And our net profit is 52,565. $52,565. We will transfer this net profit to the balance sheet and add it to the capital. If we get net profit, we will have to add with capital. If we get net loss, we have to subtract. So we have to add net profit 52,565. That gives us total of 1,27,565. Now we will tally the balance sheet. We'll calculate the asset side, amount on the asset side and amount on the liability side, and we'll see if this tallies or not. The total of both the sides comes to 1,57,565. So our balance sheet has tallied